The Department of Homeland Security conducting a raid at a house in Holmby Hills, believed to be connected to Sean Combs, the rapper and music executive.
This is written by Alex Rubinstein. I know him well. Great journalist for Mint Press. Billionaire Zionist Lucian Grange is the chairman and CEO of Universal Music Group, the largest music company in the world. He and his company have also been named defendants in a lawsuit against hip-hop impresario P. Diddy, whose legal name is Sean Combs. And you'll notice that your mainstream media is focusing very heavily on P. Diddy and focusing just about zero on Lucian Grange, or the fact that tied in, ensnared into this, is the largest music company in the world. Combs has many friends, yet among his closest are an outsized number of influential Zionists. Combs has been hit with 5 civil lawsuits in 4 months, while the Department of Homeland Security raided his homes in Miami and Los Angeles in late March, said to have hundreds of cameras inside his properties and naturally footage of politicians and music industry executives. Combs' role in potential sex blackmail operation with links to the Israel lobby bears a shocking resemblance to, does anyone know? Jeffrey Epstein. The Jeffrey Epstein connections. For those of you who didn't really keep up with the day-to-day of the Epstein revelation, not in the mainstream media, this is the stuff revealed by others, such as Alex Rubinstein, Whitney Webb, and others. But Epstein was heavily connected to Israel. So was Maxwell, and heavily connected to Mossad. And there's a lot of evidence. I don't know if they've ever found the smoking gun, but a lot of evidence showing that he was a blackmail operation of world leaders, of millionaires and billionaires, in which they would arrange for them to have these, to have sex with these women. That were often sex trafficked, often lied to about what they were getting involved in, often felt fearful that if they left, they would, and said no, that they could be harmed in many ways, or that their career would be destroyed if they had some sort of other career like acting or something, or music. And anyway, then those people are filmed, and then that is used to blackmail them. So this seems like it could have, with all these cameras throughout Diddy's house, seems like it could be something similar. One of the most powerful men in music with ties to the Friends of the IDF organization has been accused of financing and attending the parties held by the artist, which featured trafficked underage sex workers. Meanwhile, A-list actor Ashton Kutcher and other entertainment industry honchos close to Combs have maintained long-standing ties to the Israel lobby. One of the civil lawsuits was filed by Rodney Jones, a former producer hired by Combs. It accuses Diddy of sexual assault. In graphic detail, the lawsuit alleges an Epstein-style conspiracy that includes crimes ranging from sex trafficking of minors to surreptitious drugging, sexual assault, and gun violence. According to the lawsuit, Combs, quote, freak-off parties were paid for by Universal Music Group CEO Lucian Grange and former Motown Records CEO Ethiopia Habtemariam in cash to avoid detection by federal authorities. Defendants executed this is a quote from the lawsuit, defendants executed their RICO enterprise with threats of isolation from the music and entertainment industry, parading powerful music industry executives at his parties filled with sex workers, minors, and illegal drugs. And so it seems like this billionaire, Lucian Grange, who is a big funder of the Zionist cause and other pro-Israel efforts, including Friends of IDF, he wasn't just attending these things, which, the attending thing is like, or they say someone was in Epstein's black book. That doesn't necessarily mean they did anything. Epstein met a lot of very rich, powerful people. He probably tried to get all of their phone numbers. So it's when you get into things like Bill Clinton taking 26 trips on Epstein's jet that something was up, definitely. Now, knowing Epstein is not a great thing, but him having a phone number or something is a little different. Attending P. Diddy's parties. I don't doubt there were also a lot of famous women attending P. Diddy's parties, probably as well. But when you're funding these parties, you sure as hell know what's going on because you had to cough up the cash for it, which apparently was paid for in cash so that these things could not be followed, so that what was going on could not be traced. I've heard the amounts of money thrown on, incredibly rich parties like this. It's definitely in the hundreds of thousands. It can get into the millions. Mr. Combs required the sex workers and underage girls to sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, prior to entering his parties and prior to being drugged and sex trafficked at these parties, unquote. So that's a quote from the lawsuit. And that's what they're alleging. Jones believes that Mr. Combs has recordings of defendants, namely Grange and Habtemariam, as well as other celebrities, music label executives, politicians, and athletes. Grange has supported pro-Israel initiatives. Grange was photographed at a glitzy Friends of the IDF in 2016. According to UK government documents, Grange's wife, Caroline Grange, also funds several Zionist organizations. Lucian Grange also happens to be a close friend of Chaim Saban. You've probably heard of him before, one of the biggest donors of the Democratic Party, and a mega donor to the Zionist causes like the Friends of IDF. Saban is an independent non-executive director at Universal Music Group, and last month held a fundraiser for Genocide Joe Biden. I don't want Genocide Joe as president anymore. I want Genocide Trump as president now. That's going to fix everything. We need to switch from one genocidal maniac to the other, and then all will be well in the world, right? Right. In a recent interview, Deal, which is P. Diddy's bodyguard, Gene Deal. In a recent interview, Deal claims that Combs was a confidential informant for the FBI. Quote, confidential informants get paid good, but Puffy Combs was a millionaire. Him being a confidential informant, him getting money like that, it was favors. The guy's point, the former bodyguard's point, is that the FBI didn't have enough money to pay P. Diddy amount of money that mattered to him. He already was a multi-millionaire. So why be an FBI informant? Well, what they did for him was favors anytime he got caught up. He was getting favors, and then paying law enforcement people for years to protect him. He had a budget for law enforcement. Now, if something goes wrong, those people got friends in certain places. Then he tells his handler, yo, can you make this go away for me? His handler at the FBI. So this also hooks in the FBI into this whole pedo party sex trafficking thing. If he's an FBI informant, they're doing favors to help cover up any of the laws he's breaking. Anytime someone at levels of law enforcement starts to get a smell of it and maybe grabs up one of his friends or something, he can call the FBI and say, "Can a little help here?" And they would give him the help because he's an FBI informant. In charge of the bribes, according to the lawsuit, was Kristen Coram, who is compared in the lawsuit to Ghislaine Maxwell. She and the head of security at Combs Entertainment, Fahim Mohammed, and are accused of handling the bribes to law enforcement and the cash payments to sex workers. Kutcher was a chairman and co-founder. This is Ashton Kutcher now. And Alex doesn't mention in the article, I don't think he does, that Ashton Kutcher's wife is Jewish, Mila Kunis. She's Jewish, and he hasn't technically converted, but he follows Kabbalah. He studies Torah. So Ashton Kutcher is really more Jewish than I am. I mean, he didn't grow up Jewish like I did, but if he's studying Torah now, and he has done a lot of things for the Zionist cause, for Friends of IDS, etc. Kutcher was a chairman and co-founder of an anti-child sex trafficking organization called Thorn, which works closely with the FBI and other federal law enforcement agencies. Quote from Ashton Kutcher: "I've been on FBI raids where I've seen things that no person should ever see. I've seen video content of a child that's the same age as mine being raped by an American man that was a sex tourist in Cambodia." And Alex then makes a great point in this article. Kutcher did not explain. He was testifying to Congress at the time. He did not explain why exactly, as a leader of an anti-sex trafficking operation, and you're mainly, when he's the leader and chairman of this thing, what's he doing? He's mainly raising money and attention for it. That's his job. You're a famous actor. You run around getting money and getting attention for this cause. There is no reason why he should have to watch horrific sex trafficking videos. And so Alex Rubinstein makes the point why he neglected to explain why he would need to watch such things. He's not the investigator. 2018, posting a photo of his CIA mug, talking about how the intelligence community keeps us safe and protects our country. Kutcher is a prolific investor in surveillance firms. Meanwhile, he's made many pro-CIA comments, and here he is in photos. Kutcher stepped down from his role at Thorn, which he was a co-founder of, in disgrace last September after he wrote a letter of support for his friend, now convicted rapist Danny Masterson. And his letter of support sparked major backlash, which caused him to have to step down from the organization he founded. So in an interview in 2019 for the Hot Ones podcast, he was asked about the notorious Diddy party stories and whether he had any, because it was well known that he was good friends with P. Diddy. And Kutcher stammered a bit and then said, "I got a lot I can't tell. So I can't tell that one either." Can't tell about the P. Diddy parties he attended. I don't know. You can decide what to believe. Did Ashton Kutcher have no idea what his friend P. Diddy was up to? Or did he create this anti-sex trafficking organization as a kind of thou doth protest too much kind of situation? Kind of like Larry Craig, the sexual predator congressman. There was a congressman who was the head of the Child Protective Committee in Congress, whatever the name of that committee is. And it came out that he was a sexual predator and had quote unquote dated, I think, 16-year-olds. And anyway, so is it a thou doth protest too much situation? All of this to say, and this is obviously just the tip of the iceberg. This is what Alex Rubinstein was able to glean from the information in this lawsuit, which is obviously not all the information. It's not everything people could know. Then there's a separate lawsuit that just came out a few days ago against P. Diddy's son for sexual assault at a party that Diddy was at. There is a tight Zionist connection to all of this and these disgusting parties. A lot of what's being accused is not consenting adults. First of all, it is children in many cases. But besides just the children, there are at least several of these women who say they were drugged there. So they may have gone in knowing this was a sex party or something, but that doesn't mean that they consented if they then are drugged with something. In the allegations against his son, the woman said she was drugged. So she was working on the boat. It was a yacht party, working on the boat and as a waitress or something. And he insisted, Diddy's son insisted she drink something, tequila or something, and she feels she was drugged and then assaulted. So yeah, that's not consenting adults. So anyone saying, oh, it's consenting adults, they got paid, incorrect. As with Epstein, big connections to the Israeli apartheid state and those supporting it. Let's wait to see what else comes out. Whether now that that's just the tip of the iceberg.